James and Agnes Bonnar 1570.
Those convicted of incest in early modern Scotland got burned at the stake, because that seemed like the right thing to do at the time. On February 2, 1570, siblings James and Agnes Bonnar burned to a crisp for committing incest and adultery. Not much additional information about the dastardly duo is available in the historical record, but we do know that James was a mariner, probably a sailor. The courts deemed the crime of abusing of tire bodies togiter as filthy, vild, and abominable.
Nils Lykke 1535.
Best known as a fictionalized version of himself in Henrik Ibsen's play Lady Inger of Østret, 16th-century Norwegian Nils Lykke got killed for sleeping with his sister-in-law. Bonds of marriage were as good as those of blood. Lykke's wife, Elena, died in 1532, so he moved on to the next closest thing, his wife's sister, Lucy, and attempted to get a dispensation to marry her. This angered his brother-in-law, an important noble, who grew even more irate when the two had a child before they received the go-ahead. When an archbishop discovered Lykke had Lutheran tendencies, he tried Lykke and sentenced him to death in 1535. Lykke was eventually smoked to death.
Thomas Rood 1672.
Meet Thomas Rood, the first and only man executed in the United States for incest. At this time, there was no US as such, though, just British colonies, and there was no precedent for punishment for incest quite yet. So Connecticut had to decide what to do when resident Rood had sex with his daughter, Sarah, and got her pregnant. In this case, Connecticut had to create its own laws from scratch. The governor consulted a bunch of ministers who stated the crime as a capital one. So Thomas was hanged for his crime just a day before his death. The following year, Sarah, only 23 at the time, was exonerated. Authorities recognized her father had assaulted her.
Thomas Weir 1670.
Usually, churchmen accused witches against the witch's will, but one man came forward and confessed to witchcraft willingly. The Edinburgh-based Major Thomas Weir wasn't your average witch. He dressed all in black and was a practicing Presbyterian, but one day while in church, he suddenly accused himself of being in league with the devil. No one wanted to prosecute him, but Weir also confessed to an affair with his sister, who corroborated his account. He carried a bewitched staff, a gift from the devil, and supposedly got his powers from his mother, who was a witch herself. The authorities had to convict them both, executing them in 1670. No one knows why he and his sister confessed to witchcraft and incest, but his house is still considered haunted centuries later.
Hugo d'Este and Parasina Malatesta 1425.
For much of history, sex between people related by marriage was counted as incest by certain religious institutions. Such was the case with Hugo d'Este, illegitimate son of Niccolo Roman III, Marquis of Ferrara, and Niccolo's pretty wife, Parasina Malatesta. The affair became famous thanks to a poem penned by Lord Byron, but the fallout was real. But did Hugo and Parasina really have an affair? Niccolo was notoriously nasty, and he might have wanted to off his wife to wed another a la Henry Roman VIII. Perhaps the accusation of adultery rid him of two birds with one evil stone, a pesky secret love child hankering for more of the inheritance, and a wife he no longer desired. Either way, Niccolo beheaded them both in 1425.
George Boleyn 1536.
Queen Anne's brother, George Boleyn, allegedly got busy with his sister, for which he was executed on May 17, 1536, along with her other supposed lovers, who told the king about their affair, possibly Anne's sister-in-law, and George's wife, Jane Parker, Lady Rochford. She testified against them both, claiming they had an affair, which was the damning evidence the court needed to pass their death sentences. George maintained his innocence until his death. His dying speech allegedly began as follows: "Christian men, I am born under the law, and judged under the law, and die under the law, and the law hath condemned me. Masters all, I am not come hither for to preach, but for to die, for I have deserved to die if I had 20 lives, more shamefully than can be devised, for I am a wretched sinner, and I have sinned shamefully."
Anne Boleyn, 1536.
By 1536, King Henry VIII's infamous second wife, Queen Anne Boleyn, had not yet delivered the son she had promised her husband. Henry had 2 daughters disinherited, Mary by his first wife, and Anne's Elizabeth, but ardently wanted a male heir. Besides, he fell in love with pretty, young Jane Seymour, whom he wanted to marry. So he filed a bunch of charges against Anne, including adultery and incest, so he'd be free to marry again. Anne allegedly slept with her brother and confidant, George Lord Rochford. The evidence at the trial was largely hearsay, leading most historians to believe she was innocent of most of the charges against her. But was the case of incest true? Probably not, though some scholars believe one of Anne's ladies-in-waiting confessed that she and George did the deed in an effort to get a royal heir. Either way, Anne was executed on May 19, 1536. More Anne Boleyn 18 facts about the dramatic life of Anne Boleyn. 4 of 1616 famous bodies from history found in inconspicuous places. 196 of 935 the greatest female TV characters of all time.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.